Welcome to the I Can Do Anything podcast. My name is Colin. Today I'm going to talk about NBA Media Day that took place yesterday. Not a whole lot going on other than that in the NBA, so I'll likely talk about some other random shit because I can do anything. This episode of the I Can Do Anything podcast is brought to you by Ludus. Selling tickets should be easy so you can focus on what truly matters, your production. The I Can Do Anything podcast is powered by Ludus, built from the ground up for a high school theater director. Ludus is simple and free online ticket sales for K through 12 schools with a customized ticketing portal. Ludus offers great customization features. Choose your own unique domain, pick custom colors to match your organization, and even build a meaningful splash page with their drag and drop editor. Take control of your ticket sales with the advanced control panel tools. Add shows and showtimes, search for tickets, find patron data in seconds, create multiple admin users, and issue exchanges and refunds at the click of a button. One of the best features Ludus has to offer is the ability to generate detailed reports, view revenue data broken down by day, manipulate your data to answer questions about your sales, and export your data for future use. Ludus also offers powerful reserved seating. Easily let your patrons choose their own seats for your reserved seating shows. Upload your seating chart using our drag and drop maker. Add sections, rows, tables, choose premium seating, and general admission shows are possible too. Keep track of student sales by simply adding student ledgers. Each student receives a Ludus account and special sales code that can be applied to any order. When patrons purchase their tickets, they have the ability to print their tickets at home, have them digitally sent to their email for use on mobile devices, or mark them to be picked up at will call. With Ludus, customer service is a breeze. Oftentimes, it's nice to talk to a real person who understands what your job consists of. Ludus offers real-time support through their chat widget, step-by-step guides, videos, and an 888 phone number. Ludus has sold over 1 million tickets since it was founded in 2015 and over 371,409 tickets as of last night this year. Visit ludus.com and start selling tickets today with Ludus's forever 100% free guarantee to your program. That's ludus.com. Okay, so NBA Media Day took place last night. A lot of guys talking about the moves that happened over the NBA offseason. Kyrie talked about his time in Boston and kind of what led to him leaving the Celtics and joining Brooklyn. He cited some personal issues and stuff that was going on in his personal life. He also mentioned something that I thought was really vague. Here's what Kyrie said about leaving the Celtics.
The number one thing was acknowledging the fact of the steps it took to get here. That was the first step, was 8 years of really hammering home, being in a team environment, being an NBA basketball player, and trying to be successful at a sport that sometimes, or for the most part, spills over into my personal life, and then allowing that to really put me in a place where I'm able to make a decision for me and my family for the long haul. So I just wanted to come here with a very fresh mindset and make sure that I'm honest with my teammates going forward, and also reverting back to apologizing to guys that I've been with and been teammates with to make sure that they know, hey, this is a game, but also our lives come into this. And when it affects our livelihood and it affects our happiness to play basketball, then the product or our service out there on the floor is not great. And that's just what it is. Personal lives, it seems like it's not as important, but in talking in terms about relationships and coaches and all this other stuff that go into the team environment, I think the important thing is to realize that the human being as a basketball player or in any industry struggles as well, dealing with personal issues. So for me, I just wanted to come in with that mentality like, hey, I'm just going to be honest about who I am and what I'm doing going forward and my goals for myself, and then apply that into the environment here that we have in Brooklyn. So
the part that I don't understand about that that's really vague is saying that on the list of priorities when choosing to go to Brooklyn and just ultimately choosing a team in general, he says being in a team environment. What does that mean? I mean, as a former athlete, I get what he's saying. I get that you want to be in an environment where basically what he's saying is he didn't like the guys in Boston, pretty much. Like, being in a team environment is being around guys that it's not. He's not saying every team is a team. That's all a fucking team is a team, right? That goes without saying. Every team in the NBA is a team environment. So Kyrie, it's vague because he doesn't say what he wants out of a team environment. Every team has a team environment, but those teams' environments vary. Some teams have a really close-knit group of guys. All he's saying is that he didn't like the guys that he was playing with in Boston, and they were too young and too immature, which is what LeBron James has been saying for the last 10 years, is that he wants to play with mature guys that have some experience in the league, aren't necessarily veterans, but he wants to play with guys that are in the peak of their career. Anthony Davis is a great example of that. I don't know. It's very vague from Kyrie. He talked about, as you heard, a lot of I don't know. It sounds like he was dealing with a lot of personal stuff outside of the NBA with the death of his grandfather. Obviously, that's difficult. I assume he was pretty close with his grandfather. He was likely, I don't know. I guess he was probably younger when his grandfather was probably younger when he had his son, Kyrie's dad, and Kyrie's dad was likely young when he had Kyrie. So the dynamic there was that goes without saying. Dealing with the death of a loved one, of a family member, is difficult. I just think he's making a lot of excuses for just this. He's very vaguely saying that the media made his life really difficult. When, I don't know, you said that you wanted, he also mentioned this. He said that he wanted to stay in Boston 9 months ago.
9 months ago, I was sitting in front of the Boston crowd saying that I wanted to re-sign. And after that, a lot of things happened in my personal life that really changed the landscape of how I felt about the game of basketball and actually playing it in a team environment. And that really affected me as a human being. And I didn't share it with anyone. I didn't want to come out and say that this is bothering me, or I'm in a depression at this point of dealing with the death of my grandfather. So when all this happened and the NBA and the pressures, I put it in quotations, from this basketball game came into free agency and what I was doing with my future, I wanted to dispel all those things, but I don't think I did it in the right way of being honest about how I felt.
The pressures that he says in quotations are basically the pressures of the media talking about whether or not he was going to stay in Boston, and the media was right. He said 9 months ago that he was going to stay in Boston. We saw the conversation with KD during the All-Star game. There's a lot of team issues that were made pretty public throughout the season. I mean, I don't know. I guess being an NBA superstar isn't as easy as Kyrie thought it was going to be. Leaving LeBron James wasn't quite as easy as he might have imagined it would be. I've talked about this at length. I really used to love Kyrie when he was with LeBron. I loved Kyrie before. It wasn't as much. I thought, obviously, this kid's really fucking talented and fun to watch. But before LeBron, all that talent never equaled wins. And then he joined LeBron, and I thought, wow, this is an incredible sidekick to LeBron. A guard that can handle the ball and take some of the pressure off of LeBron, take some of the load management off LeBron in terms of scoring, but not necessarily the greatest assist man or ball distributor, but LeBron can handle those responsibilities. And I don't know. As a LeBron fan, I really loved that pairing. I was hurt personally when he left and did it the way he did, talked about how he didn't want to be under LeBron's umbrella anymore and thought that he could lead an NBA team and all this stuff. And Kyrie's clearly figuring out how difficult that is. Now he's going to be playing with Kevin Durant in Brooklyn. I think Kyrie was hurt this offseason. I think it was something minor. But it'll be interesting to see how he does this season without Kevin Durant. Kyrie also talked during media day about, what did he talk about? What's the headline here? Kyrie on KD's injury and return.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that question is going to come up pretty frequently throughout the year. But even while he was injured, I made sure that he knows that he has our support 100%, that there isn't going to be any pressure from any of us at any time. And I will make sure of that because I've been in that same position of being the guy that's injured on the team and everyone looking like, are you going to come back anytime soon? If you come back, then this is going to be our championship caliber team. If you were playing, then this would happen. And naturally, I think you have to go inside the mind of a competitor and realize that a lot of people have responsibilities for why that ended up happening the way it happened on a national scale. We all know K was not ready to play in that environment. We all know that, whether people want to admit it or not. He was out 31 days, and we put him on a national stage on the finals to end up selling a product that came before the person Kevin. And now I'm here to protect that. I'm going to be a protector of that all throughout the year and not allowing anyone to infiltrate that circle of, hey, K, do you, get right, we'll be fine. We have expectations for our team. We obviously know he's an integral part, but we'll wait for that. I'm very patient. I'll be over patient with Kevin because I don't want anything like that to happen to anyone again, especially on that type of stage where it happened and him having to answer questions about whether or not he's coming back or not. So I'm here to dispel it that you'll never hear me say he's coming back here or I think he's coming. I want him to be 101% healthy.
Yeah, that's good for Kyrie. I mean, he should be an advocate for Kevin Durant because there's no expectations until Kevin Durant comes back. Kyrie's not leading these Nets to anything more than, I would say this season, if the Nets make it to the second round of the playoffs, it's considered a great accomplishment for Kyrie. It's obviously nothing career or legacy changing for Kyrie, but if he takes these Nets to the second round of the NBA playoffs without Kevin Durant, I would say it's a pretty good accomplishment. So there's really no expectations for this season for the Nets at all. So it would be smart for Durant to just sit this season out. Just don't play this season at all. Get completely healthy. Kyrie's obviously alluding to Kevin Durant playing in the finals after being hurt, and I mean he's right. We all knew he wasn't ready to play. He sort of calls out the Warriors a little bit, but he's just doing what is safe. He's just saying what is safe. We're gonna let Kevin Durant do Kevin Durant and not pressure him. And yes, he's been the injured guy. In Cleveland, he's been the injured guy during the playoffs, during the finals. Now, people weren't looking at him the way they were looking at Kevin Durant to come back. Kevin Durant was a bigger piece to the Warriors' success than Kyrie was. I mean, it's not by much, but Kevin Durant was a bigger piece to the Warriors' success than Kyrie was to the Cavaliers' success with LeBron. I mean, again, not a very big difference, but Kevin Durant went to the Warriors and they won 2 championships in a row. LeBron James came to the Cavs. Kyrie went out, and LeBron still took him to the finals and battled in the finals to win the finals that year. And then Kyrie came back the following year and they won. So he certainly helped, obviously, but he wasn't as important to the Cavs' success as Durant was to the Warriors' success. But certainly doing the right thing and letting Durant. He should just not play the entire season. It seems like maybe he's going to be ready to play. Here's Kevin Durant on talking about his rehab and how it's going. I don't think he should play at all this season. But here's Kevin Durant on his rehab so far.
I'm feeling better. I mean, I want to say I'm like 14 weeks in. It's been so long, a couple of months of just rehabbing every day, you know. It's been cool to see the progress, actually, you know, to see how stronger I'm getting over time, but still got a long ways to go. But just trying to stay locked in and also still support the guys along the way. Obviously, you know, I'm so used to wanting to get up every day and prove to my teammates how good I am, and not being able to do that is frustrating for me, but it's something I have to get over and figure out different ways to attack the situation as a teammate, you know. So I'm looking forward to, you know, the challenge and figuring out new ways to help and contribute to the group. But ultimately, you know, my best way of doing it is rehabbing and getting back and, you know, being a strong player when I get back from this injury. So, but there's other ways I can help.
That's a lot of players speak. That's a lot of so much of this NBA media stuff is just seeing the guys in the new uniforms. A lot of this stuff that they say is just like kind of like the post-game stuff. It's just like a lot of players speak. You know, I'm looking forward to being with the guys and just, you know, working every day. It's one day at a time to get through rehab. I don't know. It's a lot of players speak. He does, however, talk about the decision to come to Brooklyn and kind of cites what Kyrie was talking about a little bit. Kyrie was talking more about how he didn't fit in and didn't like the culture. I think, well, Kyrie was talking about the culture in Brooklyn, but he was sort of subliminally alluding to the culture not being the greatest in Boston. I personally think that some of that, or a good majority of that, was brought on by Kyrie being kind of a diva last year. But Kevin Durant talks about what brought him to Brooklyn and the culture that Brooklyn has established, and then adding these three pieces in him, DeAndre Jordan, and Kyrie kind of expounds on that culture that Brooklyn has already established.
I would just say the culture that was set, how much that DeAndre, myself, Kyrie can add to the equation. We knew that we could take it to another level with just our experience in the league and the stuff that we accomplished individually, and you know, only can pour into the younger players and just the infrastructure as a whole. So it was a perfect place.
So really, Brooklyn is going to be the highlight of the East this year. Well, maybe not even this year. I mean, as much as Kyrie Irving doesn't want the talk to be surrounded around Kevin Durant coming back, it's going to be to a degree because, yeah, I don't think the East isn't nearly as strong as maybe it was last year. With Jimmy Butler going to Miami, Boston's not as good. Kyrie's going to be on a team by himself for the most part. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I really buy into this culture thing that these guys are talking about. I mean, Brooklyn was good, but I don't know. I mean, they basically got a better point guard. Kyrie is better than D'Angelo Russell, and they were in the playoffs last year. So I don't know. They'll have a good year, and they'll still probably be the talk of the East, even if some of the talk is centered around Kevin Durant, with Jimmy Butler leaving to Miami, with Kemba Walker going to Boston, and with Al Horford also going to. Did Al Horford go to Boston? No. Al Horford went to the 76ers from Boston. So the 76ers lost Jimmy Butler, but they gained Al Horford. The Celtics lost Al Horford, lost Al Horford and Kyrie, but gained Kemba Walker. So the Celtics take a step back. I think probably the 76ers take a step back. They're a little front court heavy with Al Horford joining the already. I mean, I consider Ben Simmons a front court player because sure, he's listed as point guard, but he's 6'11", 6'10", can't shoot the ball at all. So in that regard, he is like an old traditional center. So I think the Nets are going to be the talk of the East. The East isn't nearly, I don't think, as good as it was last year. Milwaukee is still going to be. They won't be the talk of the East, but they'll lead the East again, probably the entire year like they did last year. And then out west, we've got LeBron talking about the NBA moves that happened this year.
I think it's great what the league has been able to do year after year after year. We continue to be the greatest sport in the world, and we put out the best product on the floor every night to be competitive and play to not only our abilities but also showcase talent that our fans love. play with a lot of passion. So in that aspect, I think it's great. I think our league is in a great position right now. Adam Silver has done an unbelievable job, and every team has tried to just continue to get better and better and better to help the league out ultimately. As far as me and as far as how I feel, my only goal is how I can prepare myself every day to help this team be as great as we can be and not shortcut the process. That's always been my goal every single year, and how AD and myself can lead these guys and put them in position to be successful every night, not only from a game aspect but from a practice aspect as well, will ultimately be what we want to accomplish.
LeBron's absolutely right. The NBA is the greatest league in all of sports right now. Out in Europe, you could maybe make the exception for the English Premier League. However, I still think the NBA is, because the NBA is in Europe heavily in Europe. It's in a lot of international markets in China. The NBA is truly a global league, whereas the English Premier League in Europe, or Bundesliga, isn't nearly as global as the NBA is. People in America pay attention to the English Premier League and Bundesliga and some other European leagues, but it isn't nearly in America what the NBA is in China and in Europe and in other international markets. But yeah, LeBron is right. Adam Silver's been really great, but I think that the NBA commissioners, David Stern, got a lot of credit. Adam Silver, I think thus far has probably been a better NBA commissioner than Stern. Stern had a great long tenure as commissioner, but there were some blemishes. I think when Adam Silver came in and cleared up the first thing that Adam Silver did was the Donald Sterling thing, and I think that really solidified him with players, because that's what that Donald Sterling thing was about. It was about players having a voice. It was about player activism. It was about players. It was centered around the players, and that really established Adam Silver with the NBA players as like, okay, this guy's for us. This guy wants our best interest, and the best interest of the league is the players, and the best interest of the players. And the best interest of the league is the players. It's no secret that the NBA has always been, really since the Magic Bird era. Really for as long as the NBA has existed, it's been a players' league. You could go back to Wilt, you can go back to Bill Russell. Move forward into, Dr. J before he was in the NBA. When he was in the expansion league or whatever it was, the ABA, and then was merged into the NBA. It's always been a players' league. You move forward, Bird and Magic, Jordan, and now into Allen Iverson, Kobe, Shaq, Tim Duncan. Although Tim Duncan wasn't necessarily the flashiest guy, but Tim Duncan won, and Tim Duncan is one of the NBA greats, and the NBA is a players' league, so it's in the best interest of the NBA commissioner to make sure that the players are happy, and to make sure that the players, just to make sure that the players are happy. And these guys got guaranteed contracts, and now they're creating their own paths. They're moving when they want to. And they're dictating when they move. And like LeBron said, that's great for the league. When players are moving around, when there's parity, I think fans I don't think fans desire parity quite as much as they think they do. The NBA really hasn't always had very much parity. The Boston Celtics, the LA Lakers have always been powerhouses in the league. San Antonio for my entire lifetime, for the last 20 years, has always been, in the NBA playoffs and in the NBA picture, and, contending for championships. The Warriors for the last 5 years have been a powerhouse, and the NBA ratings are as good as they've ever been. There's kind of never really been tons of parity, but it's always been like a foregone conclusion that maybe there's 5 teams at the very best that have a chance to win the NBA title. This year there's going to be more parity probably than ever. I mean, you could say in the East that the 76ers have a shot, that the Bucks have a shot. You could maybe say the Nets have a shot. Other than that, in the East, I really don't think 2 of those teams have a shot at winning at all. The Raptors certainly aren't going to be in contention this year. I think it's probably just the Bucks in the East. But then in the West, you could say that the Jazz, Rockets, Lakers, Clippers, those are the big ones right there. The Jazz, Rockets, Lakers, Clippers. I can't even think of who else was in the NBA playoffs last year in the West. I mean, you can throw the Warriors in there. The Warriors are still going to be in contention. They still got Steph Curry. The Trailblazers. I don't know if the Trailblazers can contend for an NBA title. But there's going to be more teams in the West for sure that are in contention. And I think overall this season, just a lot more teams in contention to win it all. So LeBron is right. I mean, this is really great for the league. He also talks about how maybe the Staples Center is the biggest winner of the summer.
Staples Center is the biggest winner of the summer. You know, if you're a fan of the game of basketball, you get an opportunity to see the Clippers one night, and then you get an opportunity to see the Lakers. Then there's got great shows and great performers and artists and everybody who come through Staples Center all throughout the year. Staples Center is a place to be. Maybe even Sierra Canyon can go there and play a game. Just throwing that out there. They have some freshman on their team that's doing okay for himself as well. But no, seriously, I think it's just great. I mean, the city of Los Angeles should be very proud of what's going on, not only with the Lakers and the Clippers, but also with the Rams and the Dodgers and the Kings and USC and UCLA and so on and so on. If I missed you, I apologize, but it's a great time to be a sports fan in the city.
That part where he chuckles and mentions Sierra Canyon is his son and Dwayne Wade's sons playing high school basketball at the private school Sierra Canyon. Their sons are both 9th graders. So yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff to do in LA. Obviously, that's really always been true. But just with the highlight of the 2 NBA teams that are going to be really, really great, the Staples Center is certainly one of the bigger winners of the offseason. The Rockets, like I talked about before, are going to be a powerhouse again in the West. I don't think I'm a critic of both Westbrook and Harden. I don't think it works out, but it's certainly going to be interesting to watch. Here's Westbrook on his move to Houston.
It's crazy because we talk so much throughout the year, throughout the summertime, hang out, and it's kind of like just natural. Like, we're back playing again. Like, it's just normal. Like, back to it again. It was a crazy time in my life, and obviously with so much happening in a short amount of time. But I think it was good for us to connect on that level, obviously during that time. But it was always something that we've kind of dreamt about, of playing with each other and playing on the same team, and it's something that we can bring to life now.
LeBron also talks about Anthony Davis. I want to jump back to LeBron here quickly. He talks about Anthony Davis and says that if they're not running the offense through Anthony Davis, then what do they even have him for? I somewhat disagree. I think the offense should still be, I don't know, for the majority run. Yeah, I don't know. Here's LeBron James on Anthony Davis. I'll talk more after you hear from LeBron.
I mean, I know the caliber of player AD is. Not only from a basketball standpoint, but also from a leadership standpoint and what he can bring to any franchise. And, when Rob and everyone in the upstairs, did what they had to do to acquire a talent and a person as AD, I was, obviously truly excited. You guys probably seen how much time we spent together in the summertime. So obviously that spoke for itself. But it's exciting to have such a beautiful young mind, a beautiful player, but also a great leader as well. And I don't think he gets a lot of credit for that, being a leader that he is as well. So I think it's a great opportunity for this franchise to have such just an all-around person. I think the basketball will speak for itself, but just an all-around great person. We don't know exactly what our offensive things that we're going to do, defensively we're going to do. We haven't got started yet. Like I said, we got a brand new coaching staff. We have brand new players coming into a new system. But we all know how great Anthony Davis is. And if we're not playing through Anthony Davis while he's on the floor, then it makes no sense to have him on the floor because he's that great. And it doesn't mean like every time down, we throw it to him and throw it to him and throw it to him, but we have the ability to do that. And he's been very efficient in his career. He commands double teams. And when you're able to attract two, defenders on one guy, then you have the numbers game. Now you got a 4-on-3 on the backside. So it opens it up for other guys on the floor, including myself.
So, yeah, LeBron's right. They don't have to go to him every time down the floor. But it will be instrumental for them to run the offense through him. I don't think that he's going to get the ball in the post nearly as much as people think, or maybe LeBron is alluding to. A lot of their offense is still going to be in the fast break. This team's going to run. Anthony Davis, as a big, can run. They're going to be able to play small. They can go big if they want to with Dwight Howard. I mean, this team is going to run. I don't think as much of it will be half-court sets, dumping the ball into Anthony Davis in the post. He's not really necessarily he can score in the post and is very efficient in the post, as LeBron alluded to. But I don't think that it's necessarily running the offense through Anthony Davis. I just think what he's saying is that we obviously need to get Anthony Davis the ball because he's great, and the reason he's here is because he's great. And why would he be here if we didn't feed him the ball? He's younger than LeBron is. LeBron's going to be there to run the offense, run the organization, be the coach on the floor, and make big plays when it comes time. But Anthony Davis is going to carry through the season, is going to carry a bulk of the load. He's going to be LeBron's load management guy. So LeBron talks about his relationship with Anthony Davis. He also talks about Kyrie Irving and how he deferred to Kyrie Irving in this same way and said that he wanted to run the offense when he got to Cleveland through Kyrie Irving, and talks about how he could have been, or he saw potential for Kyrie to potentially be an MVP in the league. And that's kind of what, he's doing the same thing here with Anthony Davis. All he's doing really is just empowering Anthony Davis to, you're here for a reason. You're great. Be great. You don't have to defer to me. You don't have to worry about what I'm thinking. And you be Anthony Davis because we brought you here to be Anthony Davis. And LeBron talks about that. LeBron talks about free agency. He's asked about free agency with Anthony Davis only being on a 1-year contract, and maybe how that'll impact this season.
For me, if you know me, there's a couple people that know me. I'm a guy who lives right now. I live in the present. And, what's happened in the past is nothing you can do about that, and you have no idea what the future holds. So if you start to think about the future, then you will miss out on a great opportunity that might be right in front of your face. And I think that's even more selfish. So for me, having AD here right now and having this ball club here, we're not even going to address that throughout the season. And I bet AD will talk about it. But our goal is to get better every day. Coach Vogel and the coaching staff is going to put us in the best possible chance for us to win every night, and that's what it's all about.
So then we hear from the flip side from Anthony Davis, just kind of about the process of getting to know LeBron and how they're going to be able to work together on and off the floor.
Me and LJ been knowing each other for a while, so that was the easy part. We had our moments as teammates. On an Olympic team in 2012 and then All-Star in LA. So we had our moments, but we've been engaged in a lot of conversation about this year and what we want to do and how we want to go about it, and us being the leaders, and what it's going to take, for our guys to kind of follow us. So I think that by us having a relationship that we already have and just building on that is going to help us tremendously, especially when we have adversity during the season. We're going to have times where stuff happen, or we know what the narrative, what the media want the narrative to be of us. But it's up to us, to make sure that we stay close, especially me and LJ, and keep that narrative to a minimum. I've never played with a guy like that before, and I'm not sure if he played with a guy like me before. So I think we complement each other well. We've been working out a lot, during the summertime, just trying to figure out how we want to play. I think he's. I think it was like a little shock when we were doing pictures over here. He said, I gave him the ball. Said he like, nah, ball gonna be in your hands. So he wants me to kind of just, take control, and let me lead the team. And obviously he's gonna be there as well. But I think it's gonna be a fun moment, and us feeding off each other, knowing how each other play. It'll be fun.
So as I watch these videos on NBA.com, there's a bunch of related videos underneath. Here's Kyle Kuzma on LeBron saying that he's going to come back and be a beast. Kyle Kuzma's actually hurt right now and is out indefinitely and may miss a good chunk of practices to begin the season. But here's Kyle Kuzma on LeBron James this season.
I think that he is going to come back. I don't even know, honestly. I think he's been so locked in this summer. Obviously he's shooting a movie, but I think shooting a movie made him even more locked in from a simple point of you're on sit all day, but you have to find ways to get in the gym. So he was in the gym 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 3:30 working out. You see on his Instagram. So he's going to come back a beast. And, I think a lot of people are kind of throwing him to the side because he's that older guy and he's having injuries, but
I agree. LeBron is going to have an MVP season this year, and it's going to be really fucking fun to watch. He may not win MVP just because of all the pieces he's got around him, but Kyle Kuzma himself is going to be a really big part of that. Here's Kuzma talking about what he's improved on this summer and how he's going to fit into the equation in LA this season.
It's important for the team, but it's also important for myself. I have a high expectations of what I want to do with myself and my career, and I think this is the opportunity I've been waiting for my entire life. I have an opportunity to play with great players and show what I got and show people that I'm a great player too.
I think the bottom line is I'm really excited for this NBA season. I mean, it's coming really quickly. I mean, I'm amazed at, practices start. I think practices start tomorrow or maybe Monday. And the preseason begins really, really soon, and the NBA schedule begins on October 22nd with opening night. So I mean, we're less than a month away from the NBA season. I'm just really excited. I could play these clips of guys talking about, from Media Day, of guys talking about, their new teams and all that. There's tons of clips on here. Jimmy Butler talking about how Dwayne Wade sold him on the Heat. Danny Green talking about moving to LA. Dwight Howard says he feels physically amazing. Rajon Rondo calling LeBron James the best point guard that LA has. JaVale McGee talking about expectations. Frank Vogel also talking about expectations. James Harden talking about being reunited with Russell Westbrook. DeAndre Jordan on teaming up with KD and Kyrie. I could play these clips ad nauseum. This episode of the I Can Do Anything podcast, however, this portion of it is brought to you by Zit Remover. Many of us have experience with acne or have experienced acne for at least a portion of our lives, whether you're just hitting puberty or you're well seasoned. It can be embarrassing and oftentimes painful. I myself have dealt with cystic acne since about my junior year of high school. After years of weekend-long AAU tournaments wearing the same jersey game after game and bad eating habits, my acne was out of control on my back and on my neck. My acne was painful and just plain ugly. Zit Remover, however, has given me the clarity, so to speak, to not have to worry about my acne any longer. After just 3 months of once-a-day use with Zit Remover, it didn't just temporarily remove my acne, it abolished the bacteria from my body entirely. To receive a free trial bottle of Zit Remover, visit zitremover.com/anything and sign up to receive a free bottle of our best zit removing cream, along with their special zit removing scrubber, a scrubber that digs deep into the pores. You'll notice a significant improvement in your skin, and if you don't, your next bottle is free until you see results. So visit zitremover.com/anything for your free trial bottle today. I want to wrap the I Can Do Anything podcast up by talking about my work a little bit. So I've finished Touchstone videos for the most part. I'm putting the finishing touches on just various like name graphics and making small adjustments to graphics throughout each of the video. There's a ton of different videos and a lot of stuff to be adjusted. They've got to go through like final proofing to make sure that all the text in there is spelled correctly and there's no punctuation errors or anything like that, or just typos. So I'm excited to have all that behind me now, for the most part, at least the bulk of everything. I know that pretty much everything is finished, and we're ready to go for rehearsal on Wednesday or Thursday, and then Touchstone on Friday, where all my videos will be showcased. It's always cool to see, for the most part, people really aren't paying attention to the videos that much. They're eating dinner while the videos are being played. And they don't really get as much attention as, like I put so much attention into, every little detail, and 95% of those details don't get noticed by everybody because they're around people they haven't seen in a while. They're around, loved ones, and, it's a dimly lit, huge venue. They're eating dinner, so people don't pay attention to those videos nearly as maybe as I really don't give a shit whether they pay attention or not. For me, the product or what I get out of it is just knowing that I put a lot into it, and I just like watching them myself. Like this 25 years of football video that we did, it turned out awesome. It turned out really great, and leadership at Trine is really excited. Gretchen was really excited. Dr. Brooks was really excited about it. I sent the video to Matt Land, our athletic director, and he never responded, but more than likely that's going to be a really big hit at Touchstone. I'm sure that I'll get feedback from various football players as I see people the following day on Saturday, after they're told who made the video or whatever. Obviously, a lot of people know that I make the videos, but it's kind of weird how often people will go to other people for video requests, and it'll be like people that I've made videos with before. They'll take a video request to somebody else, and then they'll get sent to me, and I'm always just like, what? Like, I make the videos. But yeah, I'm excited for people to see that 25 years of football video. The State of the University is a really good one this year. I'm not as pleased with the Invest in Excellence video for this year. It was kind of thrown together last minute after the people that we wanted to be featured in the video turned us down. Actually, they didn't want to be a part of the video. I think partly because they're a little older, and they just physically may not be able to do a couple hours of a video shoot walking around campus and doing the various things that we require people to do for video shoots. But that video is not as strong as past ones have been. But again, leadership and everybody else seems to like it, so I'm not gonna. I mean, if everybody else likes it, then I'm okay with one of the videos that I did not being great, because I'm really happy with the other two big ones that we do every year, State of the University, and then this football video, which we don't do every single year. We're celebrating 25 years of football this year. Have a great weekend, people. Thanks for listening to the I Can Do Anything podcast, again brought to you by Zit Remover and Ludus. I may not record next weekend because I'm not working at the radio on Saturday morning next weekend. I'm going to have my parents and some friends in town for homecoming, which is what Touchstone is for. So yeah, I may not record next week, but hey, enjoy yourself until you hear from me next. Peace.